The dock that sits at the bottom of every Apple computer is one of the most powerful and functional and unfortunately underutilized elements of macOS. Do you know how to take full advantage of all the tools and capabilities it offers? Stick around and find out. I'm Dylan Stewart, the Mac Whisperer. And in today's video, which is part of my New to Mac series aimed at new and even experienced Mac users, helping them get the most out of their computers, we're going to talk all about the dock. The dock is that bar that sits at the bottom of your computer and gives you access to applications, folders, and more. Make sure you stick around for my MacWhisperer Power Tip, which is going to add a brand new element to how you utilize the dock. Let's hop on over to the computer and get started. The first thing we need to do is get a basic understanding of what the dock is and how it functions. You'll see it down here at the bottom of my computer screen. On the far left side, you'll see the Finder, which gives you instant access to your files and your folders. A simple click on any application on the dock will open that application up. But when you click on the Finder, it opens up a Finder window allowing you to quickly navigate, find anything you're looking for, open up files, and more. We'll talk more about that in just a moment. To the right of that, you're going to see all sorts of other applications, some of which you use all the time, and some of which were pre-installed for you and you may not even know what they are. As you move your way across all of these applications, you're going to come across this line here. This dividing line separates applications from other parts of the dock. Everything to the left of this line is an application. Everything between these two lines is a recent application. It doesn't live on the dock, but it's visiting because you recently opened it up and utilized it. And everything to the far right side of this final line is either a folder, a document, or a window that you minimized, or our friendly trash icon. All of these separate pieces stick together on the dock, making it easy for you to interact with all the applications that you regularly use. You'll notice that there's a dot underneath any application that's currently open. This is a great tool for new Mac users because one of the problems I see them encounter time and time again is that they're inside of an app and they close it by pressing the red button. But pressing the red button closes the window, it doesn't quit the application. So if you'll notice right now, Text Edit is open, we've got the little dot underneath it. And if I press the red button here to close this window, Text Edit is still open. So by looking at the little dots underneath the apps on your dock, you can instantly tell what programs are open and utilizing your resources. Rather than just closing windows when you're done with an application, one of the best habits you can get into as a Mac user is quitting the application entirely. And you can do that by coming up to the application menu up at the top here and choosing the quit option, or by using the key code Command+Q. Let's go ahead and quit this here. And notice that the Text Edit application on the dock no longer has a dot underneath it because now it's been properly quit. The next thing that we want to do is clean up and customize the dock. You see, many of these applications that are down here are things that you don't use very regularly. So come down to the dock and using your arrow, move from one application to the next, deciding whether that's something you use regularly or something that you don't even recognize at all. If you don't want to keep one of those apps on the dock, simply click and drag it off the dock. You don't have to hold it far, you don't have to move it to the trash, just move it a little bit above the dock and you'll notice it'll go translucent and you'll see the word remove above it. When you release your button, it will disappear. But don't worry, it's not gone forever. Everything that shows up on the dock is just an alias or a shortcut. We'll talk more about that in just a moment. So locating the apps that you aren't using regularly or don't need front and center is the best way to organize and clean up the dock and make it even more functional. Click and drag each of them off and just remove them. Now on the far left side of the dock, we're going to see this thing called the Launchpad. This is an application that Apple created to make it easy to get to apps that aren't living on your dock. By simply clicking on it, it will open up all of the apps in your application folder, allowing you to swipe from page to find the app you need and open it easily. You can also search by clicking up at the top here, or even create folders like you would on your iPhone by dragging one app on top of the other. But I'm not a big fan of the Launchpad. I think there's an easier and better way to get to your applications. To do that, we're going to click on our Finder in the bottom left corner here and open up a new window. From here, I want you to notice that on your sidebar, there is something called the Applications folder. And the Applications folder is where every application you've ever installed lives. It's easy to add any application from your computer directly to the dock simply by clicking and dragging on it and dropping it anywhere to the left side of that line. You'll notice as you drag it onto the dock, it makes room, allowing you to place it wherever you want. As soon as you've added that app onto the dock, it lives there until you remove it, which makes it easy for you to customize and add the apps that you're using all the time. Make sure to remove the ones you don't want and add the ones you do to customize it and simplify your experience. A moment ago, I spoke about an easier way to get to your applications other than using the Launchpad. But in order to do that, we're going to need to change a setting on most computers. Come up to the Finder menu here and go into Settings. From here, go to your Sidebar tab and make sure that where it says Hard Disks, it's clicked on. This will make it easy for you to grab your hard drive right from the sidebar. We'll see it in the Location section right here. Clicking on that Mac HD will show you the contents. One of the folders in your Mac HD is the Application folder, the same one we saw on the sidebar up here. But by coming into the Mac HD, you can take that Applications folder and add it directly to the dock. Press and hold on it and simply drag it over to the far right side near where the trash is. Don't drop it in the trash. Make sure that you put it in an open area. Notice as you move it around, it will make room for you, and you can simply release it and your Applications folder will live right there. Once you've got a folder on your dock, you can customize it in a couple of ways. You'll notice that instead of looking like the Applications folder, this actually looks like one of the apps inside of it. If I come up to my Applications folder on the sidebar, you'll notice that the top app is called AdBlock, and that's what we're seeing down on the dock. By right-clicking on any folder on the dock, you'll get additional options about how to see it. You can display it as a stack, which is what we're currently seeing, which shows you the content of the folder, or you can display it as a folder, which is a much better way to look at it. By right-clicking again on the folder, you'll see other options like how you can view the content. And you'll notice several separate sections. There's the fan, which gives you a handful of apps in an easy pop-up view, giving you the ability to click on the arrow at the top to open the rest of the apps from that folder. Or you can right-click it and go to the grid view, which gives you an opening that looks a lot like what the Launchpad does, but unfortunately can be a little overwhelming. The view that I prefer is called the list view, and by clicking on the list view, you can easily get into any application on your system in alphabetical order without any complication at all. By right-clicking again, you can also find different ways to sort that folder, but for the Application folder, it's best to leave it sorted by name, displaying as folder, and viewing as list. Once you've got that set, you no longer need to hunt around for your apps, and you don't need to use this complicated Launchpad to get into your applications, which means that we can remove the Launchpad by clicking and dragging on it and letting go of it. Remember, anything on the dock is already in the Application folder, so once you've added the Application folder over to the right side, you can remove things to your heart's content. And you can actually add any folder over to the dock, not just the Applications folder. By coming back into our Finder here, I can open up one of my most used Dropbox folders, my work folder. Clicking and dragging on it and placing it down on the right side of the dock will allow it to open up, currently as a stack. Right-clicking on that, I can make it a folder, and a second right-click and I can make it a list. This means that even when my Finder window isn't open, with one simple click, I can get into all of my most important files, even if it's 3 or 4 folders deep. This is one of the best productivity tips that I know, and I strongly encourage you to take a couple of your most used folders and add them right down here to the dock. Now let's talk a little bit about this middle section of the dock, the recent applications. These are applications that don't live on the dock. They're just visiting there. And sometimes they're applications that you're using all the time, you just haven't taken the time to add them over. If you'd like to add an app from the recent section, simply right-click on it and come over to the Options setting where you can say Keep on Dock. When you click that, it'll move it over to the left side of that dividing line and it will live there permanently. One of the issues with having a bunch of items in the Recents section is that when you close them, they disappear. So let's go ahead and open a couple of apps, which will join the Recents section. The Recents section can hold up to 3 closed apps and an almost unlimited amount of open apps. As we open these apps, you're going to notice that the 2 apps that are currently in that Recents section will disappear because they're closed. Let's start off by clicking onto our application folder here, and I'm going to open up Telegram. There it goes, popping right down into that Recents section. Let's click the Applications folder again, and this time I'm going to open up WhatsApp. Notice that when I did that, one of the other applications disappeared from that section. Let's open another one by coming right up here and grabbing Slack. This kicked another app off the Recents list. So if you need any of the applications that are currently in the Recents section, make sure to right-click on them, go into Options, and select Keep in Dock. In addition to that, you can also just click and drag them over on the left side of the dock, and that will also permanently add them there. Now, when I quit them, they'll stay on the dock, easy for me to access. Remember that you can have up to 3 closed apps in the Recents section and an infinite number of open apps, but it's better to take the apps that you're using all the time and add them over to the left side of the dock so that it's easier for you to access. Once you've cleaned up your apps and added any of the apps from the Recents section that you're using regularly, you're ready to dig into some of the other settings for the dock. The dividing line that separates the docks from apps, recent items, folders, and documents can also be used to resize the dock. By putting your arrow right on one of these lines and clicking and dragging down or up, you can instantly resize the dock, making sure it's out of your way and easy to see. You can also right-click on the line here to open up other options, such as turning hiding on. Turning hiding on will slide the dock out of view. To get it back, take your arrow and put it right down at the bottom of your screen for just a moment, and the dock will pop back up. When you move your arrow, it will disappear again. Turning hiding on is a great tool when you've got a lot of apps and windows open on your screen and the dock is getting in the way. I happen to like leaving the dock there because I'm pretty good at managing all of the windows on my screen, so I'm going to right-click and turn hiding off. In addition to that, you'll see other options like turning on magnification. If you've got a ton of apps on your dock, turning on magnification can allow you to see them easier by magnifying them as you scroll across them. Another right-click on the dividing line here, and we can also change the position. Some people like to put the dock on the left side or the right side of their screen. I prefer to leave the dock on the bottom because it's the longest edge of the screen, and it allows me to have lots of apps, folders, and documents easy to access. But if you want to put it on the left or on the right, feel free to do that from right here. You can even fine-tune additional settings for the dock by clicking on the dock settings right here, which will open up the dock section of system settings, allowing you to make all sorts of additional changes. The next thing we want to talk about is how you can use the dock to interact with specific applications. We know that simply clicking on any application will open it up. So clicking on Safari brings my Safari windows front and center. But if you have more than one window on a specific application, like I've got on Safari here, you can also use the dock to navigate through the open windows. By right-clicking or pressing and holding on any app, you'll get this pop-up menu, which can allow you to quit any app right from the dock, or allow you to open any of the windows that you have open in that application. So I can quickly switch from the YouTube window over to the MacWhisperer window, or by right-clicking again, come back into my Google Drive without having to move windows out of the way and scramble around to find the right window. The dock is super functional in that way and allows you to easily open any window or quit any app simply by right-clicking directly on the application. Some applications even have additional functionality built right into the dock, like the Mail app. If I right-click on it here, I can start a brand new email message without even having to open the Mail app separately. It will just pop that window right up in front of me and allow me to get started sending that new email. And one of the other best functionalities of the dock is the ability to use it to open up specific documents. For example, if I open up my Finder window right here, and there's a particular photograph that I want to add into my photo library, I can simply click and drag it and drop it right onto the Photos app on the dock, and that will open it up and import it right in. This is a really powerful tool for the Mail app, because if I have an attachment or a document that I need to send in an email, I can simply drag it onto the Mail application, drop it in, and it will open a new message with that attachment already front and center and ready for me to address the email and send it off. That's how powerful the dock is. Not only can you use it to open apps up, you can use it to navigate through the apps, and there's all sorts of functions and tools hidden in almost every one of the apps down here, allowing you to shortcut your process and jump right into what you want to do. And don't forget that you can also use the dock by coming over to the far right side to where your trash is and right-clicking directly on that image to empty out your trash without having to go into your menu bar or make anything complicated. In addition to all of those tools, there's one more powerful tool that we need to talk about, and that's window management through the dock. You see, most people have tons of windows open up on their screen, and they don't know how to get from one application to the other application. Apple's added all sorts of tools to hopefully make this easier. Things like Mission Control, which can allow you to pick any of your open windows. But if you're like me and you have tons and tons of windows open, Mission Control can be a little bit overwhelming and make it difficult for me to find what I really need to get into. But by having my most used applications right on the dock, it's easy. Simply clicking on that application brings it up front, allowing me to easily shift from Safari to Mail to Photos to Notes to any application that I've got open. Rather than moving your windows out of the way, rather than minimizing your windows by pressing the orange button, get used to using the dock to quickly jump from whatever app you're currently in to whatever app you want to start using. This makes it simple to navigate through all of your windows without ever minimizing them, hiding them, or jumping into Mission Control. And the last piece of this lesson has to do with documents. We've talked about how minimizing windows also puts them on the right side of this dock here, and how your trash icon sits on the right side of the dock. But there's one more thing that you can add to the right side of the dock, and that's documents. So if there's a document that you're constantly searching for, something you use every day, maybe you've left it on your desktop, or maybe it's in Dropbox or iCloud, and you're constantly trying to find it and searching for it, simply grab that document and drag it to the right side of the dock right here. Then that document will always live on the dock, making it one click away for you to quickly open it up and do what you need to do with that dock without searching and without even needing to be on your desktop. It makes it so much easier to use the dock for your folders and documents because the dock is always present. Even if you set the dock to the hiding mode like this, whatever app you're in, all you've got to do is come down to the bottom of your screen and the dock pops right back up, allowing you to go to that document, that folder, that app, or anything else that you need to work with. It's a super powerful tool. Now, in just a moment, I'm going to reveal my MacWhisperer Power Tip, which is a productivity tool that allows you to interconnect your computer and your other Apple devices by using the dock. But before I do, if you learned something new, got great value, or had an aha moment while watching this video, give it a thumbs up. That makes it so much easier for other people to find it. And if you've got a question, a comment, something I left out, something you disagree with, drop it down in the comments section. I love to hear from you guys. And if you're new to this channel or you're just meeting me, hi, nice to meet you, I'm Dylan. Why don't you go ahead and hit the subscription button and that notify bell so that you and I can get better acquainted and I can help you use all of your Apple products even better. It's time, hit that subscribe button. And now, without further ado, let's get into the Power Tip. One of the best things about the Apple ecosystem is how all of the separate devices connect and talk to each other, allowing you to do amazing things. Apple calls this suite of tools that connect the devices together continuity. And continuity includes great tools like the ability to copy something on one device like your phone and paste it on another device like your iPad or your computer. But one of the best continuity tools is called Handoff. Handoff is the ability to use your phone and open up a specific app or a specific document on your phone, and then go to your computer and pick up from where you left off simply by clicking on an icon down on the dock. So now I'm going to hop over to my phone and open up a specific email just like this. Notice down on the dock, there's a new icon in the recent section. It's the email icon, but in the upper right-hand corner, you'll see the iPhone. This means that I can come right down to this icon on the dock and click on it to open up the exact email that I was looking at on the phone. Just like that. And it works with all sorts of Apple apps. For example, if I open up the calendar on my iPhone to a specific event like this, you'll see the calendar icon pop down on the dock. Simply clicking on this icon here and it will open up my calendar to that exact event. And it works with notes, with reminders, with photos, with all sorts of the tools, meaning that you can start an email on your phone and continue it on your computer, or start a note on your computer and continue it on your phone. Any one of these apps can be opened from your phone, your computer, or your iPad, making it super simple to get from one device to the other without having to cause any complications. So let's try it one last time with the Notes app. I'm going to open up Notes on my phone just like this. We'll see the little icon pop down at the bottom here, and when I click on it, there's that note front and center. Just letting you know, I appreciate you for watching this video and taking your knowledge of the Mac to the next level. So that's what I've got for today's lesson, all about how to use the dock, how to clean it up, how to organize it, how to open documents, folders, and all sorts of other things right from that little innocent bar at the bottom of your computer. I hope you got great value out of today's lesson. I'm Stewart, the Mac Whisperer, and it's my passion and profession to help you get more done with your Apple products than you ever thought possible. And I'll see you next time.